Therefore, kind of rather timely that we're talking to Hannah Carter, who's a campaign manager for Love Not Landfill, talking about how we can help save the planet and get free clothes. Now, it is very London-based at the moment, but who knows? This could be the spur that is needed to go nationwide. Hannah, good morning to you. Explain all.
Hi. So yes, this is what we're calling Stop and Swap, and it's set up with us, Love Not Landfill, and North London Waste Authority. So the idea behind it is that there's a pandemic on clothes swapping, which was getting really popular in London and around the UK, as obviously physical clothes swaps can't happen. So we're working with New Wardrobe, which is spelled NUW, who are an online swapping and borrowing app. So now we set up this Stop and Swap, so people in North London can swap clothes via the app without actually having to meet each other, which is brilliant. They can swap the clothes by post once they've decided what they want. So these Stop and Swap, so the stop part is Instagram Lives, which are on the Love Not Landfill Instagram channel, where we've got people who are into clothes swapping, into sustainable fashion a little bit, who are on there talking about all the good things you can do with clothes to help reduce their impact on the planet. And then after that, these exclusive collections drop onto the new app at 6:30 every Wednesday. And if you've got something on there and you're from North London, you can go on there and swap clothes.
In theory, Hannah, clothes swapping sounds great for sustainability and living a greener life, but is it COVID secure?
Well, it is. It's the same with any clothes. Whilst we've been on the pandemic, been in the pandemic, clothes shops, particularly charity shops, which have brilliant second-hand clothes in, they've still been operating. And what you have to do is, if you bought anything online now, if you wanted to be particularly careful, you can just hold on to that package. So if somebody sends you something, if you've swapped your clothes on the new app and someone sent you something in the post, you just don't open it for 2-3 days. And then the research has shown that the virus doesn't live, I think, longer than 72 hours on fabric. So you just wait and then open it a few days later.
The other thing Penny mentioned at the start of this, that there's a backlash online after Pretty Little Thing, the online fast fashion giant, has been selling clothing for as little as 8 pence for Black Friday. I wonder what you think about the role that the fast fashion industry has to play here.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not a great example of how to, live with clothes and interact with your clothes in a sustainable way. So fast fashion has its place. It's great that young people or anybody can buy trend-leading clothes at a price they can afford. And we would never want to deny anybody that. Clothing is how we represent ourselves. It's part of self-expression. It's really, really important that people can do what they want with their clothes, but it's just about doing it mindfully. If you want to buy something, think about it, make sure it goes with lots of other things. Try and do the 30 wears is something that goes around on social media a lot. And before you buy something, think, am I going to wear this 30 times? And then buy it. So, prices clothes at that kind of cost. I mean, a 6p dress, not even the fabric has cost that. So, as it's been said before, somebody somewhere is paying. If there is a dress that is that cheap, it costs a lot more than that to make it. So how does that work if you think back down the supply chain and how that's been brought together? I don't think it's a very sustainable way at all to deal with fashion.
Good point. Back to clothes swapping, however, what's the best item you've got your hands on thanks to the swapping?
Oh, well, I put a skirt up onto the app, and I have got a pair of trousers that are coming. They're just sort of basic black smart trousers, but just something I didn't have in my wardrobe that I thought I could really do with something like that. It would go with this and this and this. And so those have come along, and really pleased with them.
Yeah, so essentially this is a suggestion that people just have a stop and have a think. Not saying, do not go and get something which is really cheap, because after all, you have to remember a lot of people don't have very much money. But actually, just saying, it's just really saying, have a think, and if you look in your cupboard and you've got loads of things that you haven't worn for donkey's eons, then just swap them rather than putting them in the bin.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a stat, something like £30 billion worth of clothes are sitting in wardrobes in the UK, and they're not worn. And so that's exactly it. You can effectively get new clothes with those by swapping them. So it's a perfect solution, just a way to refresh the wardrobe. So it's about time, really. It's standing in front of that wardrobe and looking at everything. And if, obviously we have seasons, so if you haven't worn it for over a year, then maybe you're not going to. And that piece of clothing that is of almost no value to you because you're not going to wear it can actually be swapped for something that you would absolutely love and wear all the time.
Hannah, thank you so much. Hannah Carter there, campaign manager for Love Not Landfill.